John had just finished his last day of school and was ready to relax and watch his favorite childhood TV show, Teen Titans. After arriving home, he logged into his computer and began to search for Teen Titans episodes online. He was pleased to find that there were plenty of websites that hosted the entire series for him to watch them through. However, as he was scrolling through the list of the episodes, John stumbled upon something particular. In an episode entitled Bunny Raven, or How to Make a Titanimal Disappear, he thought it was strange that he had never heard of this episode before and hesitantly clicked on it anyway. He was taken aback of what he saw. It was almost like the original episode, except with a very different outcome. This time Mumbo came away as the victor, and he had successfully used his magics to make the Teen Titans disappear, rendering them unable to help Raven. As John proceeded of what he had just seen, he began to become very intrigued. How could an episode like this exist, but not been aired? He scoured through the internet for more information, but had no luck whatsoever. He eventually realized that his only hope of finding out was the real story behind this lost episode was to contact the creators, writers, and voice actors of the show. A few days later, he had managed to make contact with the team who made the episode. After a few discussions, he found out the real reason why this episode was never aired. Apparently, one of the writers on the show had made a few changes to the original story. Some of them were not very child-friendly. In the alternative episode, Raven actually gets her revenge on Mumbo for making the Teen Titans disappear. She kills them in one of the most gruesome scenes the show, and in the episode ends with Raven looking straight at the camera and saying, "Who's next?" John was delighted that he was able to get to the bottom of this strange puzzle. Unearthing this very long forgotten alternative episode was like a dream come true. He was glad that he was able to share this story with the world. But one thing remains though. Why would this episode be made? He will have no idea really much. It all started off with a club of very dedicated anime fans who, much to the disappointment of their teacher, wanted to desperately watch some of the lost episode. The teacher, ever so obligating and understanding, very relented in saying that his colleagues had provided him with a singular copy of the episode that had never been released to the public. Intrigued, all the students gathered around the TV, eagerly anticipating on what they were about to experience. The episode went on to introduce what appeared to be a twisted alternative universe line of the Teen Titans episode. It's in this alternative universe where Raven, determined to get her vengeance on Trigon, goes through some messed up doom-like hell filled with all sorts of creepy creatures. As the students watched, eyes wide and jaws agape, Raven slowly lost her sanity, going as far as to rip Slade in half with her dark magic. By the end of the episode, not a single student was left unscathed. All were filled with horror, revulsion, and completely shaken by what they had just witnessed. Fortunately, their teacher had to discriminate to think a bit better off of it, destroying the only copy of the episode, making sure that nothing like that would ever be seen again. Since then, this lost episode Creepypasta has stayed true to its title and remains to be shrouded in mystery. No matter how many people have searched, it just can't be found on the internet, nor on television. Supposedly it still resides somewhere in the deepest, darkest researches of the internet, taunting those who dare to try and find this episode. Once upon a time, in Jump City, the Teen Titans were enjoying their daily rounds at Titan's Tower. The group typically included Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Robin. On this day, a typical school day, they were getting ready for their first day of classes at Jump City High, when suddenly a large explosion was heard coming from the direction of the Jump City police station. Running towards it, the Titans found that the police station appears to be burning, and a few people were left alive. In the midst of all the rubble, the Titans found Starfire's older sister, Blackfire, claiming that Starfire was responsible for the destruction. The Titans tried to refute the claims, and Blackfire refused to listen. Eventually, it came to light where Blackfire was just jealous of Starfire's success and wanted to get rid of her just to prove that she was better than her sister. Robin became enraged at Blackfire's betrayal and quickly threw her sister into prison. Starfire was shocked and heartbroken at the betrayal of her sister. However, she managed to keep her emotions in check and tried to prove her innocence. After months of combing through the evidence, Starfire was finally cleared of all charges, and the real culprit was found out to be the alien warlord. And at the end, the Teen Titans had to eat their words, but the effects of Blackfire's betrayal lingered on. Starfire was reluctant to trust anyone, but especially her own family. The Titans made sure Starfire knew she was loved, and will never forget the lost episode. It started out as a regular day in Jump City. The sun was high on the horizon, the teens out having fun. What the Titans didn't know was the next day, they would be anything but normal. That day, the Titans were receiving an unexpected package from a FedEx truck. Robin, leading the Titans as usual, opened the box to find a strange recording device. On it was a message from a mysterious Mad Mod, an evil genius who often causes trouble in the city. He had a delightfully wicked plan to capture the Titans and place them in the series of deadly traps. Using the recording device, he intended to watch the Titans helplessly as they dealt with the horrible situations that he had concocted. The Titans barely survived their torture ordeals, but Mad Mod had one final twist at the store. He had worked with John Kramer and Jigsaw in the past, and he had planned to use their methods against the Titans. Using the recording device, he forced the Titans to reenact the famous traps from the Saw films. The Titans eventually escaped from Mad Mod's clutches, made it back to Jump City, but without a lasting sense of horror, the day was a success. But it was a bittersweet victory for the Titans. Mad Mod had a taste of his own medicine, and it was a lesson that he'd never forget. The Teen Titans were on a top-secret mission to save their world from an nefarious Slade. In this mission, the fearless Robin, the powerhouse Cyborg, the magical Starfire, the mysterious Raven, and the lovable Beast Boy were sent to put a stop to the powerful villain plans. On their way there, however, Beast Boy did have to face a difficult test. His heart's desire was Tara, a mysterious girl who followed Slade's orders. For a brief moment, his heart was soaring. He would finally get his own, but the joy was soon faded when Tara revealed the facts. Slade had manipulated her and made her use her powers for evil. Betrayed and broken, Beast Boy wanted revenge. He wanted to make Slade pay for his manipulation and heartache. He vowed to make Tara pay for turning her back on him. No one else seemed to understand his plan. He confided in Raven. As they talked, she suggested an alternative ending. In this new ending, Beast Boy would found his way to turn Tara's heart back to him. Instead of emotionally pushing and punishing her, with Raven's support, some creative thinking, Beast Boy came up with a plan. In his plan, he would make Tara realize just how much she was used by Slade. He would then also have the Teen Titans work together to help him defeat Slade with the powerful villain. With their combined strength, Beast Boy felt sure that they would be succeeded. Finally, in a dramatic ending, Beast Boy would confront Tara and make her realize how much she had betrayed him, and that he forgave her. With some love and understanding and compassion, he hoped she'd find redemption. Before setting out, Beast Boy shared his plan with his fellow Titans. They were inspired by Beast Boy's deeper understanding of Tara, suffering, and his faith in her redemption. As the Titans departed from their mission, Beast Boy's brave plan laid in their hands of the fate. It was a newer version of the story. It was an outcome uncertain, but Beast Boy's hope was strong, and the plan would work to give the Titans a happy ending. Only time would tell. It was a beautiful day in Jump City, and the Teen Titans were out enjoying themselves. Everything seemed normal, until a strange energy seemed to come from the sky. The Titans all stopped what they were doing to investigate. As soon as they noticed a strange purple energy flowing around the skies of Jump City. Even more strange, the energy seemed to be targeting Starfire. Starfire was standing there trying to figure out what was going on. Suddenly a voice echoed through the air. It was a voice that Starfire had not heard in a long time. The voice of her mother. The voice spoke to her and said, "My daughter, these are the growths of puberty, and they will bring many changes with them. Learn to accept and understand these changes, as they will shape you into a person you will become. Starfire was taken aback by all of a sudden advice from her mother, but she knew deep down it was true. She was getting older and her body was changing. She returned her gaze up to the skies, following the source of energy. Suddenly a bright flash of light, and Starfire was gone. The Titans were worried, wondering where Starfire had gone. They searched all over, but there was no sign of her. Night would soon roll around, and the Titans were starting to worry. Suddenly the strange energy filled the air, and the Titans were immediately aware of it. The energy was coming from Starfire's room. They followed the energy towards Starfire's room, and when they entered, they were all in shock. Starfire was in the middle of her transformation. Her body was changing and accepting her new change. Everything seemed to work in perfect harmony. Her skin had started to change brighter pink hue, and her hair glistened in a halo of gold. She was growing taller, and her muscle in definition becoming more prominent. She seemed to have a newfound of confidence and strength radiating off of her body. The Titans watched in awe as Starfire embraced in the transformation. They felt a strong sense of pride and admiration of her. They also got the experience firsthand on how hard puberty can be. But at the end, Starfire accepted the changes that she was going through. This was true in the Testament, that no matter how hard puberty can be, one has to accept the changes in order to make the journey a bit easier. It is something that all teens go through, and it is up to them to make the best of it. It all started on a quiet, star-filled night in the city of Jump City. While the city was at calm at peace, the same could not be said for the Titans. In the tower, Beast Boy and Cyborg were playing a video game when a loud explosion rattled the tower. Running on the roof, they found the intruder, Slade, accompanied by his enigmatic disciple, Robin. The Titans immediately taken on the criminals, as they were hopelessly outmatched. Beast Boy and Cyborg were taken down quickly, leaving in a range Starfire and Raven to pick up the slack. Unfortunately, their rage was no match for the masked Titans. With a few powerful blasts, the two were taken down too, leaving Robin as Slade's only disciple. In the morning, the Titans woke up to find the tower in ruins and their friends missing. After the search of the area, they found Robin standing alone in the rubble. He was broken and battered. The Titans feared for the worst. But when they asked him what happened, Robin simply told them it was an alternative version of the episode Apprentice. Starfire, being the most astute of the Titans, decided to take a deeper look into what had happened the night before. After done some digging, it became clear Robin had worked for Slade, and during the break of the Titans Tower, he killed Beast Boy and Cyborg. In the second part of the mission, Robin had been sent to kill Starfire and Raven, but instead of taking out the task, he froze. He thought back to all the happy memories he had with his friends, and almost instantly regretted his decision to kill them. In that moment, Robin found himself in a moral dilemma. But at the end, Robin chose to go against Slade and his commands. He eventually killed them, but before he could turn himself in, Robin ended his life, leaving the Teen Titans and the citizens of Jump City in shock. The following weeks were especially darker for the Titans. Not only did they have to mourn the loss of their closest friends, but also the loss of their greatest hero. What had happened the night still remains a mystery, but it's still effects of the alternative episode of Teen Titans. It felt far longer than forever. It started as an ordinary day for the Teen Titans. They happily went about their lives and not suspecting any trouble. But that day, a mysterious new episode suddenly appeared on their television. It was called Fear Itself. The episode began with Raven, who was already in fear, being confronted by one of her worst fears in the alternative dimension. She was attacked and weakened by them. She had managed to fight back just enough to stay alive. But then something unexpected happened. A terrifying demon appears and stabs Raven in the stomach. Robin sees this, and he is desperate to attempt to keep Raven alive. All the Titans rush to help her. The Titans had used their powers to fight off the beasts, but it's too late. Raven is quickly dying from her wounds. They were running out of time to save her. Will they be able to do anything in time? All they can hope is that they finally save their friend. The episode ended with a cliffhanger, to the audience being left to guess whether the Titans were able to save Raven or not. It was an intense but compelling episode that left viewers in shock. In the end, the fate of Raven was left unknown. But it was made by many wonder if they would ever see her again. And that's how the episode feared itself ended, with a cliffhanger and a sense of unease. The episode was never re-released again, leaving people in the dark about what was Raven's fate. Cyborg had been growing more suspicious over the last couple of weeks. With the disappearance of his friends, Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire, he feared for the worst. He had hunched that something evil was happening in their city, and he had to get to the bottom of it. It was then that Cyborg had stumbled upon a lost episode of Teen Titans. It's set here in his home city of Jump City, but in this episode, the villainous Brother Blood had murdered his friends in the most gory ways, all inspired by the Saw movie. There was no chance of them coming back. As the episode unfolded, Cyborg felt his fury grow. He vowed to avenge on his fallen friends and punish Brother Blood for his crimes. Cyborg was set off to gather all of his fellow Teen Titans to confront Brother Blood and bring him to justice. After assembling everyone, they were ready to confront a villain who had no idea was facing any opposition. Cyborg was quick to spring into action, using all of his powers and determination to take down Brother Blood. The others joined him in the fight, but before they all knew it, Brother Blood lay defeated at their feet. Curious onlookers gathered and asked how much feat was accomplished, but none of the Titans were able to answer with certainty. Was it real, or was it just fan-made lost episode of Teen Titans? No one was for sure, as the Titans were quickly disappeared into the night. But one thing's for certain, the villain Brother Blood was no longer in Jump City, and the Teen Titans had solved the mystery of the missing episode, and Cyborg's friends had been avenged. A father of 3 of his kids had a similar interests to his children. He loved cartoons, but someone had told him about a creepy episode of Teen Titans that no one has ever seen before. He was intrigued and curious to see what this episode was all about. So he, as a sensible parent would do, had research on it on the internet before showing it to the kids. The lost episode Creepypasta, he browsed websites and read reviews, watched some clips and read some comments. But the mystery still remained, and what would this episode be like? He would only come to one conclusion. He should watch it for himself so he can know if it is kid-friendly or not. So that night he fired up his laptop, opened the link, and pressed play. What he saw was a horrified beyond belief that he saw. It was filled with dark and scary elements that twisted characters and settings. He also noticed that some hidden messages and symbols that had an occult message. But instead of switching off the episode, he analyzed every second of it and pieced together what he was seeing. He was determined to solve the mystery and find out what this episode was all about. He had managed to decode some of the hidden elements that lead him to answer of the episode. It was all warning to children to not be fooled by appearances, although this episode may have seemed innocent and lighthearted at first. It had a much more darker message beneath the surface. Once he was done, he turned off the episode and relaxed on his chair, relieved to have seen and decoded the episode in one piece. He knew that he had to show this episode to his children, but he also needed to know that they were too young to understand the moral of the story. But the father was still glad that he watched the episode, and he learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the most innocent things can have a much more darker meaning than what you think.